G'day, g'day, g'day. Mathematical KM here. Remember their initials, not a title. Keith Malumbi. Coming to you with round 8 out of 9 in the Canberra Cup at the Canberra Chess Club. I was playing Kelman D. Kelman weighs in at 1475. Slightly higher than my 1457. Got a 5775 deal going on there. And I've got the black pieces. And shout out to Simon Williams, not that I know him personally, but Harry the H-Pawn will have a role to play. We'll say no more. Okay, let's see how we go. We'll go through the standard Hippo first 10 moves until something has to happen. Or if we see a full, thick-skinned Hippo, breathe a moment. There we go. My job is done, I can go home. Not quite, but it is an interesting moment. And there is a lesson for me to take away from this one. He's castled to the king's side. And I probably could as well. In fact, that would give me a bit of decent king safety. I am thinking at this pawn, because as Solomon's course goes, you go for the less protected pawn. And oh my, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces protecting the D pawn. 4. How many are protecting his E pawn? 1. So that's the pawn we're after. We've got a bishop on it and choices between knight f6 or straight to the flank pawn. Either way, it's going to open up the middle a little, and afterwards, and I'm still learning the Hippo, even after this is the second year of it, and yeah, castling first. Interesting that c5 is the computer's second choice, challenging the pawn that's only got 4 protectors, and a5 I'm not even really going to think about. Unless, no, dreams of a5, bishop here, and swapping those bishops off. But no, staying in the Hippo ideas of trying to win a central pawn, going about the usual patterns. Castling would have been the way to go, and locked in for the next time. Okay, so it comes out as a mistake. Castling was best. We're going to have a little bit of king safety problems. So we'll see how that goes. We'll take a quick look at this, because knight g3, I understand what he's doing. He's giving himself another piece protecting that pawn. But for him, knight to f4. Knight in here was best. Interesting. Anyway, so he's the fight for f4. He's got himself 2 pieces protecting to the 2 pieces attacking. And for me, castling is still get that king safe. Didn't do it. Second best is get another attacker on that pawn, knight f6. Played. He takes me. Rule of thumb from Solomon Riddell, the chess giant. His Hippo course is the way to go. Get it on Gumroad. Is when you can take a pawn there, have a look on either side. If there's a pawn on either side, take with a pawn. If not, take with the knight. So, and his rule of thumb worked out. Best move, knight takes. Played. Okay, second best for white is knight takes, and he's played. Now we've got a choice between the G and the E pawns. Not a whole lot in it. 0.03, so it's really a matter of preference. And at this point, I know I've got it in my mind that the king's not going to be that safe, and I'm kind of hoping I'm going to get to castle queenside. And by wanting to castle queenside, that means G takes would be the way to go. E takes would be, opening it up to a path at my king right here, right now. So I've gone G takes. Given is excellent. He's lining up a rook on my king, which makes perfect sense. Queen to D7. Another guard on that pawn. Guard on that pawn. The base of these little pawn chains, otherwise unprotected. And on the bishop. So, yeah, Queen D7 makes a lot of sense. Castling now. So the king's protecting the bishop with dreams of the king coming in behind that pawn if we can get more rooks and queens and things attacking his king while his things are caught offside, then that would be nice. So castling would be approaching that. A knight to e4, throwing that knight in. It's kind of part of my plan, but I went with... I dived in first, so that's good. And it's at this point that I've made the little bit like a stonewall formation. But again, still the best move. Castle. See that there's a bit of king danger. And in fact, what did Sauron do? Sauron moved that knight. What does that allow? Check, which can't be blocked, losing the castling rights. What can I do to get a blocker? Well, I could castle right now. I could go knight f6, which covers that queen check, prevents it. Or queen to f6, which would allow blocking with the queen, if required. And what I've done, which in and of itself is not the worst idea, making the stonewall formation, except I've allowed that check. A bit of a mistake. Okay, now where to take the king? Really hard to decide. In the end, I dreamt of manually getting my king over here and thus allowing these major pieces to come across. That's actually third best. The very best is king d7, which is immediately safer. Does allow the queen to come in here, but if it does, I've got a blocking queen which protects the bishop. And the queens might come off, but the king will be a lot safer. So afterwards, I can see the king to d7, but really afterwards the message was to castle earlier. So anyway, we have gone the wrong way. He should have brought another piece in, but he's taken the knight. And it is interesting, I'm picking between D takes and F takes. And D takes is better. Either one will come with tempo on that bishop. But my worry with D takes was allowing his D pawn forward. But it looks like taking towards the centre was actually wrong. And in as much as it allows a semi-open file on my king, I can see that, which is probably the thinking. So far it's been a lesson in king safety, this game. But we've taken. Moving the bishop back was best. Let's try and trade. I'm the one under attack. Trades will be good. And there was a mistake getting the ladies off, so that's in my favour. Computer actually likes king takes. Trying to get that king behind all those pawns, which I can see. But I've gone the other way, and I'm really going to wish soon that my king had taken. But it's we've got it back to 0.6 to white. So we've pulled back, we've survived the first attack. Okay, there goes a bishop. What's it doing? It's threatening that pawn. This move I was happy with finding, because I will have a rook and a bishop protecting that pawn, and we might get rid of another attacker. And if we do, if you take all the pieces off, my pawns versus his pawns, I almost prefer black. Let's go. So we play it, and also this undoubles, so even the pawns will be even better. And now it's only plus 0.2 or 0.28, but however you want to look at it, we've reeled it in a bit, which is great. And that was an excellent move, getting another piece in. And 2 available infiltration squares. Now, rook to g8, we'll get rid of that one. Rook to h7 allows this rook coverage and can block in front of the king if required. Would have been good. a5, I don't know, counterplay maybe, but let the bishop come in behind. Not the best, but not even in the top 3 was to take that square away with a mistake. It blows it out to nearly +1 to white. Nice move. Because now he's got 3 pieces to my 2 in the battle for e4. And it's interesting that giving up on g4 with king g7 is best, or king e7, getting away from what will become an open file, inviting a rook, or c5, which is maybe going for a bit of counterplay. But in a stubborn, I've got 3 protecting as well. Note it's gone out to 1.62. And a big reason for that, okay, rook to d1 was best. I like what he did. I thought, well done, Kelman. Because what did Sauron do? And the clock's at this point. I had 53 minutes, he had 32 minutes. I really should learn to use my clock a little more and look at the implications. Bishop's not pinned now, but you've got to look at, if he takes, the bishop's pinned, the bishop is not one of 3 pieces protecting that pawn. That's a real ouch. And so right now, king to g7 would unpin the bishop and the game would go on at plus 0.5. That would be far and away the best move. Also gets the king out of the way of this rook so it can swing in. King to g7. Bishop to g6, not as good, but it does mean that the bishop is free to take there if I'm not in check. But of course, if he takes there, I am in check. And king e7 also unpins that bishop. And I may well give this the title of this video. I mean, it's not the first What Did Sauron Do? But we can pin this one on the Ginger GM. Harry the H-Pawn, not worrying about what Sauron did and heading his own way. And that's, yep, blunder, 5.15. And I pretty much knew that with Kelman's level of skill and mine, that after a move such as this and 5.15, that I pretty much could have shaken his hands and said, well done, game over at this point. And I knew it before he moved, actually. Nothing worse than realising what you've just done before your opponent perhaps even sees it, but knowing that they will. Anyway, so yep, indeedy, he knows that bishop will be pinned and he plays it. It's a great move. I take, he takes, I get the king out. Can you imagine? It would be that much worse if I moved my king into the E file now, because then he could take and I wouldn't be able to take. It was just a bit of a mess. He takes, I take. Okay, so rook and a bishop versus a bishop. Now, I'm only one pawn down, but as you can see, 5.29, it's really no good. I've got vague hopes of if the king can keep his king out of there and if I can get a rook to there, but what are the chances? Particularly fairly error-free game being played by Kalman. I mean, I positioned him to be up a little bit at one point, but... And that was an excellent move, because I've lined it up, so, I mean, he's not going to miss it. But if I can get check, forking the bishop, I'd be perhaps maybe back in the game. But a move of king or bishop, or, as we saw, rook to e5, just takes that faint hope away. That was best, best, and now it's just a losing endgame. And yep, I've shaken Kelman's hand and said, well done, great game. Shame I missed that pin, and Harry the H-pawn did what he did. Quick look at the review. You can see quite a tight, pulled it back after letting it go a little. And then there's your Harry the H-pawn move and all over. Let's have a quick look at where it goes wrong here. Yep, should have castled the 0.4 to +2. And that castling actually should have happened immediately after the move 11. Or should have been move 11, the first move after the full thick-skinned hippo. He's already castled. I should get the equivalent king safety, allowing the pawn push that I want to make. So, long-time viewers, watch out and call me out if I make that particular style of mistake again. Let me know in the comments. And on that, like, share, subscribe. Tell me what you thought of this game. And bye for now.